Welcome to the Global Challenge 213-216, next 4 years. Alright, so let's get started. I am Clarity Ross. The right use of time and the right use of mind actually is, and you need to go on a little bit of faith at this point until you test it out, is affirmations, right affirmations. The right type of affirmations. Okay, so we are going to actually begin doing that. And the simplest affirmation, the root affirmation, there's a root affirmation. And I've been test piloting this, okay, over the last few days, test piloting this basic affirmation to see how it flies, to see how it is. And no problems. It's great. It's absolutely wonderful. We start out with, I'm looking at a tree here, so I'm outside, so I'll say, this tree can't teach the ego anything. Okay, that's the first statement. This tree can't teach the ego anything. I'll break it down into parts first. This shrub cannot teach the ego anything. This pot cannot teach the ego anything. This table cannot teach the ego anything. This light cannot teach the ego anything. This sky cannot teach the ego anything. Those clouds cannot teach the ego anything. That's the first part of it, and you can practice this. Second part is, this tree doesn't need to be a tree. This sky doesn't need to be this sky. This light doesn't need to be this light. This post doesn't need to be this post. This table doesn't need to be this table. This couch doesn't need to be this couch. This person doesn't need to be this person. This computer doesn't need to be this computer. So the first part is, this something can't teach the ego anything. This tree can't teach the ego anything. The second part, this tree doesn't need to be a tree. Okay, the third part is to say, instead of this tree, oneness is seen. Instead of this sky, oneness is seen. Instead of these clouds, oneness is seen. Instead of this light, oneness is seen. Instead of this computer, oneness is seen. Instead of this table, oneness is seen. So there's 3 parts. This basic affirmation, which will provide you with right use of time, right use of mind. Absolutely will. 3 parts. First part, this tree can't teach the ego anything. This tree doesn't need to be a tree. Instead of this tree, oneness is seen. Okay, 3 parts again. So let's go over that again. This tree can't teach the ego anything. This tree doesn't need to be a tree. Instead of a tree, oneness is seen. Instead of this tree, oneness is seen. So this tree can't teach the ego anything. This tree doesn't need to be this tree. Instead of this tree, oneness is seen. So we're being very specific here. To start off with, we are very specific. Later on, in more expanded forms, we will be able to generalize, which is important. But to start out with, we have to be very specific here. So, wherever you are, wherever you're sitting, let's try that out. And you can choose something. Whatever it is, what are you looking at? Say this shelf, maybe you're in a room, this bookshelf. This bookshelf can't teach the ego anything. This bookshelf doesn't need to be this bookshelf. Instead of this bookshelf, oneness is seen. So try that out. Try that out. I'm going to, when I'm giving you the go-ahead to try it out for yourself, I'm going to turn on this light like that. Boom. Okay. Can be seen. Okay. And then I'll turn it off. Let me see how that will work. Oh, it's a little bright out here like that. Yeah. Okay. So, for a bookcase or whatever you're seeing, a window, maybe a window, this window can't teach the ego anything. This window doesn't need to be this window. Instead of this window, oneness can be seen. Oneness is seen. Let's go more direct. Instead of this window, oneness is seen. Oneness is seen, not can be. Can be puts it in time. So rewind. This window can't teach the ego anything. This window doesn't need to be this window. Instead of this window, oneness is seen. So you're going to try that out right now. Okay, now let's try it again. This window can't teach the ego anything. This window doesn't need to be this window. Instead of this window, oneness is seen. Now we can shift it over to something else. This wall. This wall can't teach the ego anything. This wall doesn't need to be this wall. Instead of this wall, oneness is seen. One more time. This wall can't teach the ego anything. This wall doesn't need to be this wall. Instead of this wall, oneness is seen. All right, you're going to give that a try. Try the wall. Let's try the wall. One more time. All right. Over again. This wall can't teach the ego anything. This wall doesn't need to be this wall. Instead of this wall, oneness is seen. Let's try another one. This carpet, or this flooring, whatever flooring. This carpet can't teach the ego anything. This carpet doesn't need to be this carpet. Instead of this carpet, oneness is seen. This carpet can't teach the ego anything. This carpet doesn't need to be this carpet. Instead of this carpet, oneness is seen. So we'll give that a try right now. Okay. All right. This is the basic form, and this whatever can't teach the ego anything. This whatever isn't this whatever, or needn't be. There's no, this whatever doesn't need to be this whatever. Instead of this whatever, oneness is seen. Oneness is seen. That is the root affirmation, and from this root affirmation, we can put refinements and embellishments and expand its application, etc. But it's very important to start off with this basic form, this 1, 2, 3 basic form. You get this and you're on your way. You're literally on your way to which is to see. And see, what is seeing? See is sees oneness. Looking sees things. Seeing sees oneness. So when we say that oneness is, instead of this thing, oneness is seen. Instead of this tree, which we're looking at, and we're looking at as a thing, instead of this thing, oneness is seen. Okay. So, to expand it, here's a little expansion. You can try it. We'll try it. In the next video, we'll introduce more and more expansions of this to show you how it works. But here's just a pre-taste of the next video. This day cannot teach the ego anything. This day doesn't need to be this day. Instead of this day, oneness is seen. Try that again. This day can't teach the ego anything. This day doesn't need to be this day. Instead of this day, oneness is seen. One more time. This day cannot teach the ego anything. And this day doesn't need to be this day. instead of this day, oneness is seen. Okay, so there's an example. So in the next video, we will I will show you how to expand the affirmations. Okay, but let us review the affirmation one more time. Remember, it has three parts. Part one, this, and then you refer to something, or those, that cat. That cat can't teach the ego anything. That cat doesn't need to be a cat. Instead of that cat, oneness is seen. Okay, that cat can't teach the ego anything. That cat doesn't need to be that cat. Instead of that cat, oneness is seen. Instead of that cat, oneness is seen. All right, that's the basic format. So this is a beginning, global challenge, right use of time, right use of mind. This is actually how it's done. This is the highest use of the mind that we can employ right here in hypothetical land, which is actually the situation that we are engaging with. It's the highest way, it's the right way, and it will enable us to get what we really want, which is to see oneness. Instead of this, I see oneness. We can say I can see oneness, but it's better to say I see oneness. That takes it out of time, you see. Okay, and we'll get into that in further videos. There's more to come, and it gets better and better and better. But first of all, there needs to be this practice of the basic format. 1, 2, 3. This tree can't teach the ego anything. This tree doesn't need to be a tree. Instead of this tree, oneness is seen. All right. Very great. We've made a great start here. And that's it for this one. See you in the next one.